My dad beat me with a crowbar because I shielded my son from Mom let her hit the boy. Mom laughed, "This is what you get for breeding trash." Booty made sure they were the ones begging next. The storm started long before the rain. It was in my father's heavy footsteps pounding against the kitchen tiles, and my mother's voice dripping poison as she stood over Eli like a vulture. My son sat on the couch clutching his drawing pad, his big brown eyes wide, confused and hurt. He had only wanted to color superheroes to imagine a world where good people always won, but in this house, heroes didn't exist, only tyrants with blood ties. We had come here because I had nowhere left to run. My apartment lease had ended. My job had cut me without notice, and the shelters were full. My parents had laughed the last time they saw me struggling, but I had begged this time for Eli for just a roof, a bed, a few nights to breathe. My father had smirked and opened the door muttering, "Leeches always crawl back." My mother looked me up and down like I was filth. She couldn't scrape off her shoe. "You just keep proving we were right about you," she said. Eli had looked at me worried, but I'd smiled like it was okay, but I knew deep down, it wasn't. The first day was quiet enough, just their glares, their whispers, my mother's deliberate scraping of dishes. Only for two people like Eli and I weren't even alive. But by evening, the insults grew louder. "This house smells like failure." My dad grunted when I passed him in the hall, "Trash brings trash." My mom said, when Eli accidentally dropped his toy, every time I swallowed the anger. Reminded myself we had nowhere else to go, I felt a piece of me dying, but I still shielded Eli with soft words, hugs, whispered promises that this was temporary. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments. From where are you watching this video? That night, the line finally snapped. Eli sat drawing again quietly on the arm of the couch. My mom swooped in, snatched his pencil and ripped his page in half, laughing as she tossed it aside. "Art, you think you're some kind of genius," she spat. "You're just like your mother." "A mistake, pretending to matter, stop," I said sharply, stepping forward before it could think twice. My voice shook, but it carried years of anger in it. "He's a child. You don't talk to him like that." My mom's head whipped toward me, eyes narrowing like knives. "I'll say what I want," she hissed, "because you bred garbage and brought it to my house. Maybe if you'd kept your legs shut, you wouldn't be dragging this parasite around." Eli's little body trembled next to me. I crouched and wrapped my arms around him, whispering, "You're perfect." "She's lying." "Don't listen." But my father's footsteps thudded in from the kitchen. His face already twisted in rage. "Don't you ever talk back to your mother in my house?" he barked. "You don't make the rules here." "You never did." "I'm just telling you not to hurt him," I said, standing my ground though my knees shook. "I let you do this to me my whole life. I won't let you do it to him." And that's when his eyes went cold, that dangerous calm that meant violence wasn't far. He grabbed the rusted crowbar leaning against the door frame from earlier car work, lifted it like it weighed nothing, and stalked toward us. Eli whimpered, clinging to my leg, and my heart pounded in my throat. "Move," my father said, low and deadly. "No," I whispered, crouching and wrapping myself around my son, my body forming a shield from behind him. My mother's voice cut through the tension like acid. "Let her get hit. Let her learn. That's what you get for breeding trash like yourself." The first blow landed on my shoulder, white-hot, pain shooting through me. I bit back a scream, holding Eli tighter, whispering over and over, "I got you, baby, you're safe. Mommy's here." Another hit. This one across my back sent me sprawling to my knees, but I refused to move, refused to let them near him. My father's breath was ragged, his curses filling the room. My mother stood watching, arms crossed, smirking like justice was being served. By the time he threw the crowbar down, my body was shaking. My breath uneven, but my son was untouched. My father glared down at me, disgust on his face. "Get out," he snarled, "take your brat and crawl back to whatever gut you came from." My mother stepped closer, leaned in just enough to spit her final venom into my ear. "You'll come crawling back again. You always do, because trash doesn't survive long without someone's scraps." I said nothing. I gathered Eli in my arms, ignoring the screaming pain in my body, and walked out into the rain. The night was cold, but colder was the way Eli clung to me, his tiny sobs muffled against my neck. Like I kissed his hair, tears mixing with rain on my cheeks. "I swear to you," I whispered, my voice trembling but fierce, "they'll never hurt you again, and they'll never forget what they did tonight." We walked down that empty road, each step searing agony, but my resolve burned hotter than any pain that night. Something inside me died, the girl they'd beaten down for years. In her place, something stronger was born, a woman who would make sure they'd regret every strike, every word, every ounce of pain they had ever poured into me and now tried to pour into my son, and this time, I wouldn't just survive, I would end the reign of terror. They called parenting permanently. The days after that night felt like one bruised blur every time I shifted. Eli in my arms, the ache from my father's crowbar lit up my back. We drifted from cheap motels to borrowed couches, no real home, but safer than that house of horrors. Eli stayed quiet most of the time, drawing in silence, his once bright smile dimmed to a flicker. Every time I saw the fear in his little face, something inside me hardened. This time I wasn't going to just run. This time I wasn't going to hide. My parents had spent my whole life playing gods in a crumbling kingdom of fear. I had been their favorite punching bag, their daily reminder that I wasn't worth love, and now they had extended that cruelty to my son, a 7-year-old child who had never known hate until they spat it in his face. I spent nights awake, thinking of every moment they made me beg for affection, every bruise, every insult, every time they starved me just to remind me they had never feared anything, not the law, not judgment, not losing me. Their power came from believing they were untouchable, and that's what I was going to destroy. I called a lawyer the next week, one who specialized in child protection and domestic abuse. I handed her every photo of my injuries from that night, every hospital record from my childhood, every vile text and voicemail they had left over the years. It wasn't just about what they did to me. It was about what they had just tried to do to Eli. For the first time in my life, I wasn't asking for help to save myself. I was preparing to burn their entire fortress of power to the ground and make sure they never had a chance to rebuild it. The lawyer listened quietly, her face darkening with every word.